Okay, recording in progress, and this is Dan Ringwald from the Santa Barbara Real Estate Investor Association, Santa Barbara RIA, and also the Santa Barbara, National Home Buyers. That's my business besides the Santa Barbara RIA. And I have here today Steve Bridge. Is it Bridge, Steve?
Yes, sir.
And you've got some very interesting information here about the Space Base California, which he's going to give us a great rundown on. And we just had, I noticed on the internet, Santa Barbara got some voter award or something on the internet for being really out front as far as a good place to live. Obviously, it's high price and it's difficult for people to pay the price of rent or pay the price of homes, but the Santa Barbara County also got an award for having Santa Maria be one of the top places for mid-price homes, which are much lower price, but an excellent area to move to and to do business in and live in. And the whole Vandenberg thing and the Space Base is like right in between all that. So I want to, turn this over to you, and I'll have some questions too as we go through this. And thank you so much for being here to do this.
Well, I look forward to this presentation, Dan. We have some exciting stuff going on in Lompoc, and you just mentioned about the Santa Maria and the Santa Barbara area. Lompoc still has some affordable houses, but my guess is after this takes off, we may find ourselves looking at some value increases in the real estate area. So I plan on going through this and giving you guys a thumbnail. I won't take too much of your time. Pale Blue Dot Ventures was created for this opportunity. And for those who are familiar, it's above the hill on Lompoc, and I'll get into that a little bit later. So we have a mission to educate, entertain, and inspire children. We want to teach science and tell the story of mankind. Space is an area of interest, and if you look at the statistics, California and United States children need to focus a little bit more on science, technology, engineering, and math, and this is one of the ways to do it while still entertaining them and making a profit. So that's our goal and our mission. Space is booming, and some people laugh at that because the word booming here in Lompoc, we're at about 50 launches a year right now, and we're projected to go to 100 launches of SpaceX alone in 2025. So we're seeing the industry grow exponentially.
And I'll tell you, Steve, as far as booming is concerned, I live in Santa Barbara on West Camino Cielo, and every time something launches from Vandenberg, my wife goes, "Oh my God, what's going on?" You can hear all that boom, 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 and you can kind of see the rockets and things take off. So it's going to bring a lot of attention to a lot of people back into this area. And I actually had a rental in Lompoc, and I know the area very well. It has been heavily dependent on Vandenberg, and it's been up and down because of those military missions. But now that we're heading on to commercial, it's going to be a completely different thing. So please continue on.
That's true. And I also smile because with SpaceX coming back, which is fairly unique and new, that's when you get those sonic booms. And it's kind of funny because it takes off, we all run out, watch it take off, it's beautiful. Then we kind of forget about it for a minute, and then that sonic boom hits you, and you kind of jump out of your skin. But
well, Steve, thank
a lot
you
of activity going on.
I want to thank you, Steve, for bringing that to our attention, because we are all thinking that boom, 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 is it taking off? But you just, you know way more than we do on this, and so that's actually the re-entry noise. It sounds like.
That's correct. That's when you get that sonic boom.
Okay.
So. Anyway, space is hot. We're going to Mars. There's a lot of interest in it, and the commercialization of it is increasing the traffic at Vandenberg considerably. We've put together a first-class team. Several of our elements are companies that were Disney, when Disney split off pieces, these guys bought them, and now they provide the service to Disney. So guys like Integrated Insights and Ideas, they've got 40 years in this theme park kind of entertainment. So we feel very comfortable that we've got the right guys on the project. And what is the project? So it's an immersive destination. You can visit from 3 hours to several days. We put about 65,000 students through this a year and about 300,000 people. The major profit or revenue components, I apologize for that. The major revenue components, of course, are admissions, food and beverage, merchandise, and then we are going to have a hotel, and we are having a pavilion for events. I apologize for the call in the background. I'm doing this from home and not sure. The timing's perfect, right?
Yeah, and Steve, I got one quick question for you. This is all amazing. Are you saying that this is gonna happen no matter what, we're heading that direction and the funding's coming in, or this is still in the stage of we hope and we dream?
This is pretty far along the road here. The train's moving pretty quickly. You know, there's always risk associated with any activity. In about 3 or 4 slides, I'll show you exactly where we are in the process, but we've already raised several $1 millions, and we're marching down the path.
Excellent.
I picked just one little module of it to give you a flavor of the types of structures and activities that might occur in there. We have the overnight hab module. You come in here and experience simulated missions. We have a rover course where you'll simulate driving on Mars. We have aviaries, drone aviaries, and zero gravity and sim labs. And this is just one example here just to get you a flavor. And I'll show more as we go into that. We also have room to expand, so we can build additional industrial facilities on the site. And the Air Force has about a half a mile away what they call mission development zones of hundreds of acres, and we're linked into that. So this has a lot of legs going forward as commercialization occurs. This is just one example of building a special facility. And if you can imagine, you have this this educational facility that feeds through interns and education right into the commercialization space. This is what the park looks like from the top. It's pretty accurate. I mean, we're obviously learning as we go, and there may be a few changes, but this shows you the hotel is kind of that centerpiece. And there's the drone. And another nice thing is we have excellent view shed for the launches. So, you know, obviously we can't guarantee that a launch will occur, but if you're there and it occurs, you can go out to this area and you'll have prime viewing. It's on 82 acres. We're going to use about 40 acres in this iteration. We're in the final negotiations with the city for a 55-year lease with an option to purchase the property. We've gone down to we're crossing the T's and dotting the I's. So we fully expect to have that completed in the next month.
So Steve, I want to just ask you, do you know where Halama Beach is there close to Vandenberg?
I do.
Do you know the distance of Halama to Vandenberg and the distance of what you've got to Vandenberg?
We're on the edge of Vandenberg. If you're familiar with, let me go to the next slide.
Okay.
If you're familiar with Lompoc, as you come out of Lompoc, can you see my cursor? Does it show up?
Yes,
Okay.
it's showing up.
Up the hill out of Lompoc, this is the property right here. Allen Hancock is on the left. So in relation, the base is right there. In fact, this
Wow.
property line has the prison and the base adjacent to it. So we will be overlooking the valley, or maybe, from the base itself, a half a mile, but from launch sites, we might be 2 or 3 miles. Halama is multiple miles down the coast.
Okay. And the reason I ask is because every time there was a launch in the past, everybody that was there in their RVs camping out or whatever had to pack up, had to get out of there completely until the launch was over, whether it be 6 hours or whatever, just for safety's sake. And I think because we're having so many launches now, they finally figured there's no way that we can continue to get people out of there because we're just having too many launches. So I think they are starting to relax that whole thing. And you're absolutely much closer to this than Halama Beach.
Yeah, but they don't close Lompoc, and this is
No.
still above Lompoc. The reason is the launches from Vandenberg go out to the, probably not true south, but what you and I would call south. And we're just slightly north of that. So
Okay.
we're essentially in Lompoc. That's another one of the advantages here is we do not have to deal with Santa Barbara County. We are in the city. And so this property will only have to undergo city scrutiny, and we have full city support. So if you've been to Lompoc, you've probably driven up this hill. You know the hill I'm talking about.
Yes.
It's a pretty neat location right here on Highway 1. Just as you overlook this whole valley here. And in a little bit, I'll show you a video of what that looks like. So what's the impact, or what's our economic impact in general? We're going to have about 300,000 visitors. We've done multiple market studies. Those numbers are very conservative. And as you can imagine, once this is in place, it's going to be I like to think of it as a national treasure, because I think people will come from all over the world. But we just did a California economic development portion. There's about 23,000 room hotel stays. It's a 75 key hotel. It will be a theme hotel, so it'll be integrated, kind of like when you go to Disneyland, you can stay at the Disneyland hotel. We could have about 10,000 camping events, 400 jobs, and it's $40 million a year of revenue. So $50 million in economic impact is pretty conservative. So this is a big deal in my
opinion. Yeah, it really is. Just 400 jobs alone is going to make people go, oh, wow, I'm moving to Lompoc as quick as possible.
Yeah. So from a local standpoint, if you're city of Lompoc, you're looking at that, we say 350. It's my numbers when I come out is 400, but let's for today just call it 350, which is pretty significant for a city the size of Lompoc. We're going to have 40 million in annual revenue. Be about a $4 to $6 million uplift in the taxes going directly to Lompoc. We think it's going to increase the reputation of Lompoc. If you're in Santa Barbara County, Lompoc has traditionally been kind of the redheaded stepchild. And so now we think that up there with Solvang and Santa Rita Hills, you're going to hear about space-based California. Obviously, there'll be, spillover on the hotel occupancy. Lompoc's a little unique in that they built their utilities to service Vandenberg Village and Mission Hills and Mesa Oaks, which are some very small communities just north of Lompoc. That never came to fruition, so they have excess utility availability, which this will help the city spread those costs. And it's a great educational impact on our local schools. We already have the school support, and they're looking forward to us putting this in place. And in the last 2 meetings to kind of talk about community support, I've never seen this in a California city before, but we had over 100 people in each of the meetings carrying signs in support of this. There were no at the city, no people at the meetings, the community meetings, going, we don't want this. They're all going, we want this.
Well, that's impressive because they just got through completing the wind generators there somewhere around,
Yeah,
Highway 1, and that was a lot of people going, we're not sure if we want that or not. So to have that kind of support, that's really good news.
and all 5 council members voted to go forward. So, like I say, that's kind of rare in California, and it's because it's such a cool project.
Oh, absolutely.
So where are we at? We've raised about we're at about 1.5 now with friends and family. We're transitioning to what's called a seed round in our world. We have commitments from bankers. Once we get, past the entitlement, they want to belly up to the bar. We met with a large investment firm in Los Angeles yesterday who's very excited about being involved. We partnered with the city, so there are steps to this. We're going to lease the land first. It will be a 55-year lease with a predetermined option to buy. Then in November 2024, we go to an initiative. Since this is a public park in California, to convert a public park to this type of activity, you have to have an election. And we're on track to do that. We've hired John Davies out of Santa Barbara. You guys may know him. We fully expect to go. The city is supporting us in doing this. It's not like we're doing it over the city. They want us to do this. We're finalizing what's the development disposition agreement. Appraiser has already appraised us at 300,000. I'm expecting when we go into final negotiations, that'll be a little higher. We're already engaged with the community education, the Central Coast school districts. We've already started the EIR. Now, one of the, we all know about CEQA in California, but when I showed you that previous picture, the the college, when they developed a full EIR on the project, or not this project, but on the land. And so all we need to do is do an update. We had a little bit of concern about fairy shrimp. We just got notified by our company, there are no fairy shrimp on the property. Excuse me. So it looks like that's a fairly low risk. We have established a 501c3 so that we can do nonprofit stuff, but this is a for-profit engagement. And not included in the business plan is the IP we're going to generate, the entertainment value and the virtual reality kind of stuff, but that has not been included in any of our business numbers.
And Steve, how long has this been in the making? How long ago did this whole project start?
Well, COVID hit us pretty hard. So we've been doing it for about 5 years.
Okay.
But COVID, took 3 years of that.
Right.
So we're out looking for partners. We have government matching funds where we're looking at workforce enhancement. So we're increased focus on space investments. Thought I'd just see if I could. There we go.
Yeah, it may be that the connection there was a little slow. I might be able to, because I've got some, I've got that video and your information here, so I could possibly splice in, a smoother portion of that video.
Now, the beauty of that video is it's pretty accurately showing you what it's going to look like over Lompoc. Those were all Lompoc overlays.
Yeah, and that really is close visually to what's going on. So I think you're in a prime position to give people, a front row seat to all these launches, which, people are in Florida looking at it all the time. They're looking at launches there from probably all over the world as they go there for the theme park, or however you want to say it. So this is going to be really, really good.
Yeah, so where we're at as far as, what's the ask? You're always supposed to have an ask at the end of these presentations, but we're obviously looking for investors. We need to get through this next phase. The phase we're in right now, we're trying to raise another $1.5 million. That will get us to full entitlement, and then it's Katie bar the doors. So, and we're also looking at industry partners. Maybe somebody wants their name on one of the buildings or things of that nature. As we go into the election, we're looking for local support. We want people to say, hey, we think it's a good idea. And obviously, if you're in the ground floor early, while it's a little higher risk, you get better return on your money. So that's my pitch, Dan. I hope I didn't take too much time.
It was excellent. It's just really good information. Can you give me an idea, Steve, what the minimum amount that somebody could come in on an investment? Obviously, the maximum would be the $1.5 million or whatever you're looking for, but I'm sure there's people going, well, how much could I do? How much would you be willing to take on the low end? Because there's people that, really want to invest in something, but may not have enough for you to go, well, we just can't even take something that small. So can you give me an idea there?
The smallest tranche we've taken is 25K to date.
Yeah, okay, that's doable.
Yeah. So it's not that we want to keep people out. It's just there's paperwork involved, and
Sure.
it starts to be more trouble than that sounds harsh, but
Yeah.
a lot of effort.
Okay. Well, I just cannot believe that it's in the middle of Lompoc, and it's just something that they have really needed. And I don't know if the military launches and things will start slowing down, because there's so much usage that's going to be taking over there commercially. But I think on the commercial side, it doesn't really matter as far as the local economy to Lompoc that the military speeds up or slows down. This commercial stuff is just going to continue to grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And with this out there, it's a huge, wonderful gift to be putting in that area.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see the military slow down for two reasons, maybe three. One is they have a pretty big infrastructure on secret facilities for satellites here on the base. So they're a little bit driven to, they'd have to build a lot of stuff. The other is that Vandenberg is the only effective place they can launch the polar launches from. So what I mean by that is you can do equatorial, go around the world, around the equatorial plane in Florida. You can do a polar from Florida, but it's very expensive, and it's you're going over populated areas. So Vandenberg is really the polar, and by that I mean your satellite goes over the North and South Pole as the Earth rotates under you.
Okay.
And the third thing that's going on, and you're seeing a lot of it in NASA, and military's not far behind, is they're starting to move to using commercial vehicles for their military launches. So yes, it'll be a military satellite that they've processed here in some very sophisticated facilities, but they might put it on top of a commercial vehicle. You know, the reliability of commercial vehicles has, come a long way. And so it's more practical for the military to implement, just like the military doesn't, when they're traveling from coast to coast, they use commercial operators to travel. It'll be the same kind of mentality.
Gotcha. Okay. And would you say, I mean, I haven't heard of anything, but on the Pacific West Coast, Vandenberg is the only place that they are launching. Is there any place else from Alaska to Mexico, or any place that you can think of that is or might in the future? Because I can't even imagine there would be.
Well, some of the desert kind of areas, like in New Mexico, they're trying to get a piece of it, but there's so much infrastructure here. It's really hard to compete with that. I mean, you look at all the satellite launch complexes that exist on Vandenberg, all the way to Slick 6. It's very hard to compete with that. And then some of the facilities that were built in the shuttle days, I happen to work on some of those, have been converted to NRO type facilities. And, we're talking $500 million facilities. You just don't build those overnight. So
Right.
you have the additional, they call them blast zones. So, some of the materials and fuels, you have to have enough area around it to be safe. So, it's not like they can just pick up and move those anywhere, but obviously other places would like to get it if they could.
Yeah, they would, and they'd have to do a lot of work to compete. So could you put your contact information back up there and just give us a quick rundown of how people can get in contact with you and what they would do to move forward with anything?
Sure. Just call me or drop me an email. I'll be happy to meet with anybody anytime. That's Steve at bbes.biz. And there's my phone number on there. Send me a LinkedIn request if you want to do it that way, or whatever way works for you. I'll even do a Facebook friend.
Okay.
As Steve's he's based really out of London, the CEO. He comes here every couple weeks. He just left for a 3-week trip to see his wife. But he spends a lot of time here, but we can certainly get you, talk to them if you like.
Excellent. Wow. Steve, thank you so much. I really, really am amazed and appreciative that you took the time to do this with us. I will do everything I can to help put this out there, promote it, see if I can get some people interested in getting back to you. And absolutely, I think it's going to make a huge difference in real estate from San Luis to Ventura, basically. And obviously, Lompoc, Buellton, Solvang, that whole area up there is just going to benefit so much from this. So thank you, Steve, for, spearheading this, working all that you put into this, and for meeting me here today on this Zoom. I really appreciate it, and we will be looking forward to working with you some more on this.
Well, you have a wonderful day.
Okay, thank you, Steve. You too.
All right.